Up where Ann left off with Nancy Erika Smith, partner at Smith Mullin, who's representing former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson in her sexual harassment lawsuit against Fox. Nancy, thanks for joining us. And let's establish, while you, of course, have experience representing women who say they've been harassed by powerful men, you are not involved in this particular case with Harvey Weinstein, correct?
Correct.
Let me start with this question that Ann raised here, and let me get the legal culpabilities here. She talked about what did people at the Weinstein Company know and when, if anything. Ronan Farrow in this New Yorker piece reports on 16 former and current execs and assistants who either witnessed or knew this behavior was happening. You heard some of the references to honeypots, for example, people that would facilitate these meetings. What legal consequences might these folks face if they did, in fact, facilitate some of these encounters?
Well, the companies definitely have legal consequences if the statutes of limitations haven't passed. If it's not too late for these women to seek redress for the harassment they endured. It's hard to believe a company doesn't know that many of its employees and potential employees are being harassed. For one thing, there are 8 settlements. Who did those 8 women go to? Directly to Harvey Weinstein? That's hard to believe. They more likely went to either corporate HR or corporate legal. So it's very hard to believe. And even if it's true that they can find some way to claim we didn't know about it, then you have the question of why didn't you know about it? You run there's all male board of directors. Is there a committee of the board that monitors workplace conditions? Do they have training? Do they have policies? Is there a procedure to complain?
Let me bring in the statement here from the Weinstein Company, since we're talking about this, from spokesperson Sally Hoffmeister. I'm going to read it to you. She says, any allegations of non-consensual sex are unequivocally denied by Mr. Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein has further confirmed that there were never any acts of retaliation against any women for refusing his advances. Mr. Weinstein obviously can't speak to anonymous allegations, but with respect to any women who have made allegations on the record, Mr. Weinstein believes that all of these relationships were consensual. Mr. Weinstein has begun counseling, has listened to the community, and is pursuing a better path. Mr. Weinstein is hoping that if he makes enough progress, he will be given a second chance. Nancy, what do you hear in that statement and in that response that a layperson might not hear?
That statement makes no sense. What are you apologizing for? What are you getting treatment for? If you had consensual sex with all these women, what are you paying them off for? Why apologize? Consensual sex isn't something you apologize for. It's just inherently contradictory, that very statement.
Why is this, when you talk about these women coming out, you mentioned, or Ann mentioned, Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, now talking about experiences they had when they were much, much younger, when they were in their early 20s. So why do you think this is now emerging with these women coming forward to tell these stories?
I think women get empowered by other women coming forward. When you're the sole victim jumping off that cliff, especially against a powerful person, it's very, very scary, and the retaliation and backlash is significant. We heard that Lisa Bloom was planning to release pictures of some of the accusers looking friendly with Harvey Weinstein as a way to discredit them and make them look bad. We know that it's a regular modus operandi for Roger Ailes, especially in the earlier Macris case against O'Reilly, to trash the victim, plant stories. They're sluts, they're nuts. That's the theory.
When you talk about the case that your client, obviously Gretchen Carlson, was involved in, again, separate case, different situation, but still going at a powerful man, accusing him of sexual harassment here. And she writes in the New York Times in this new op-ed, men are vitally important to this culture change that she says need to happen. She says the more men hold their peers and bosses accountable, the faster we can stop this behavior. So what is the role here of powerful men when it comes to culture change?
Well, one role is to increase women on boards, to make sure that men speak up and don't just joke about it and laugh it off and, oh, that's Harvey, to recognize the real harm caused to women, the permanent harm caused to women. I know many women have PTSD just watching this happen because it's so much like so many women in many industries are experiencing. They can't do it on this level alone. You can't harass all these people alone. And the other thing men can do is stop the secrecy, demand openness. Don't force women who are victims to be silent anymore.
Nancy Erika Smith, thank you very much for coming on this program and sharing that perspective. I appreciate it.